So, what's the real difference between a great idea and a great business? In this explainer, we are going to break down the key ingredients for becoming a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah, this is the big question, isn't it? I mean, it's one thing to have that little spark of inspiration, but it is a completely different thing to turn that spark into a company that actually thrives. So, what does that journey really look like?
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll get on the same page about what an entrepreneur actually is. Then, we're going to meet a real founder, a woman named Rose, and we'll follow her story. After that, we'll unpack the entrepreneur's toolkit, see exactly how Rose used those tools, and wrap up with the big lessons we can all take away from her incredible journey.
Okay, let's kick things off with the absolute fundamentals. What do we even mean when we use the word entrepreneur?
At its core, the definition seems pretty simple. An entrepreneur is someone who starts a business hoping to make a profit. But it's so much more than just being a creator. That little phrase, hoping to make a profit, well, that implies risk. It's what turns a passion project into a real venture with real stakes.
And yeah, those stakes are personal. We're talking about betting on yourself, a lot of the time with your own savings on the line. It means sacrificing your free time, pulling those late nights, and dedicating years of your life to get an idea off the ground. It is a massive, massive commitment.
Look, definitions are great and all, but stories are what bring ideas to life. So, to make this all feel real, let's meet Rose. We're going to use her journey as a case study to see what entrepreneurship really looks like in practice. So, this is Rose. She had a passion for designing and making things out of wood. And at an age when most people are just trying to figure out their next step, she decided to build a future for herself, starting her very own business when she was just 18 years old. And her growth was just incredible. This timeline really shows you her whole journey, from starting out in a spare room at 18 to running a multi-million-dollar company with 4 different locations by the time she was 30. It's just such a powerful example of what's possible when the right idea meets the right person. So the big question is, how on earth did she pull it off? What did Rose have that let her achieve so much so fast? Well, let's unpack the toolkit of common traits that successful entrepreneurs almost always seem to share. Here they are, 7 essential traits that make up the entrepreneur's toolkit. You've got creativity and innovation for coming up with new ideas, confidence and determination to power through the tough times, risk-taking to make those big, bold moves, and of course, strong communication and negotiation skills to get people on board. Let's dig into a few of these and see how they showed up in Rose's journey. Now, this is the really interesting part, because we can see exactly how Rose put these traits into practice. It's time to connect the theory to her actual real-world journey. First on the list, creativity. For an entrepreneur, this isn't just about being artistic. It's about seeing problems in a different way and finding solutions that are totally unique. And for Rose, this was at the absolute core of her entire business idea. And her unique vision was obvious right from the start. Her creativity was so distinct that her tutors actually nominated her for an award for it. This unique way of looking at design is exactly what made her furniture stand out from a sea of competitors. Okay, next up is risk-taking. And honestly, you just can't be an entrepreneur without it. It's all about having the courage to make those big bets, knowing full well they might not pay off. Rose had a point where she had to decide, play it safe or go all in. And this is a perfect example. As demand for her products grew, she didn't just expand a little bit. Nope, she used all of her savings to scale up in a massive way. It was a huge financial risk, but it was a calculated one that she knew was necessary for growth. All right, let's talk about determination. You can think of this as the engine that keeps an entrepreneur going, especially through the tough times. It's that pure grit, that refusal to quit, even when things get really, really difficult. Her determination was clear from day one. I mean, turning down a spot at a university, that is a huge decision. It just shows you how incredibly focused she was and how deeply she believed in her vision. She chose an unconventional, much harder path because she was just that determined to make her idea a reality. The last trait we'll look at is communication, because none of this works in a bubble. You need to have powerful communication skills to get investors, partners, and customers to believe in what you're doing. A great idea is really only as good as your ability to explain it. And this was a massive turning point for Rose. By clearly communicating her vision and the quality of her work, she convinced a key decision maker to give her a shot. And that one single conversation opened her business up to a worldwide audience. It changed everything. So, what can we take away from all of this? Well, Rose's story isn't just inspiring, it's a really practical case study for what entrepreneurship looks like in action.
So here are the core lessons from her journey. It all starts with creativity, a unique idea, like her award-winning designs. But then it takes calculated risk-taking, unwavering determination, and powerful communication to turn that idea into a success. It's the combination of all these things that really matters. And that brings us to our final thought. As you look at this toolkit, creativity, risk-taking, determination, communication, which of those traits do you already see in yourself? And maybe which ones might you want to build on? Because that path of an entrepreneur, it might just be closer than you think.